getting smaller and smaller. Incredible
And the
shrinking
back.
woman.
It doesn't matter. That's okay.
Okay. Welcome everyone to our monthly meeting. A roll call
Mayor Dave Morandi,
here.
Trustee Marie Early,
Here?
Trustee Lynn Miller,
Here?
Trustee Francis Murphy,
Here.
Trustee Steve Villotto.
Here. Okay. Here we have a rec report from Bruce Campbell, who's the new chair. He's been pretty active. I'm not sure if it's on here. These are basically the approvals for permits here. But he also, I've been talking to Bruce, so he's been in touch with Russ Terrio. They've been working together to kind of coordinate on the mowing. And also, he's going to be meeting with Haldane, the ground superintendent there, to go over maintenance on the fields and what we expect. And hopefully we'll have a contract. One is drawn up but never quite finished, so we'll try to finalize that this year and get that to them. It also has prices for the fence repair. A tree had come down, a limb had come down and crushed sections of it, so take care of that. And also hopefully power wash the pavilion is one thing that I asked them if we could find time to do. So I think it has been done for a long time. If you go down there, it's a little bit gross. But his report is basically weddings at the bandstand. There were 3 approvals there. The Lowestown Recreation requests for baseball clinics were approved. Document request for Hudson River Clearwater was approved.
On that one, in our package, there is an application for docking at Main Street from Clearwater, and the dates and times don't match. They are asking for...
I know, they're looking into that. This is the one that we approved where it was May 13th for an hour. And then there was another one on there, but I don't see it on here, so they've only approved one so far.
Okay.
There was one in July.
I can give you some background on the one that's in the pack.
Okay.
You want to do it now or later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we now?
Just talking to Jeff, seemingly that request came through sometime in January and got lost in the shuffle of, I guess, the rec department or whatever. And so it was never, the one that we have in the packet now has been in-house since January, was never approved, so it's just come through now for us to approve, since we now say we're doing the docking approvals.
Right, okay.
Everything's in order, so this is not Clearwater's fault, it's more or less our fault, we missed it in the process.
Right. So the one in the packet we'll be approving
The one in
because
the
they're coming
packet
to
is
us now.
different.
Yes.
The one we did last week is a different.
Right, okay. So we'll discuss that when we get to it and approve it. This one here got lost.
Yeah, it's
They were there already this week, which were some of the dates, I believe.
May
Or-
5th, 4th
yeah.
to the 8th.
Right.
Yeah.
There's,
So that hasn't been approved yet, but it was
It was
lost
submitted
to
to
us.
us a couple months ago.
So we'll approve that tonight
Okay.
for the remaining dates, and I think he's contacted them also. Let's see, the Knights of Columbus request for Mayor's Park. There are 3 here, there's 2 here, but I know one is Knights of Columbus and one is not, as far as I know. I talked to Bruce about this. I believe the beer festival is not. Oktoberfest is the same as last year. So I asked Bruce to get more information. I think that it's what's that?
Well, I don't know, we didn't have an Oktoberfest last year.
Right.
We're trying to set one up again this year.
Yeah.
I have to get the dates, what they were, early September, I don't know, September, something like that. I think we're looking to do this, Saturday, Sunday
Right.
type of an event
Yeah.
right now, so.
Yeah, that one I know, that one's here, so I understand that one, but the other one
Beer
was,
fest, I don't know nothing about that one.
the other one is commercial or private, it's not-for-profit. So I think, we were charging like $100 or for residents or whatever. This one is going to have 2,000 people or the same amount as you guys
okay.
have talked about. And so, I would like to have the first one, the beer festival, September 30th, which is not the Oktoberfest that Bobby's talking about. I'd like to not approve that one or table that for now. So could I have a motion to table the beer festival application September 30th?
so moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I think Bruce has maybe touched base, I'm not sure, but I'll have him follow up if he hasn't. Because if we're gonna start renting that out to for commercial use or whatever, I think $100 or $50 doesn't quite cut it, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, there's a birthday party request was approved. Cold Spring Recreation will now meet on the third Tuesday monthly, approved by all the members and notified the village clerk and the mayor. So anyone that's interested in rec meetings, they're now third Tuesday of the month. Discuss further voting requests, discuss bench plaque requests, discuss recreation budget, discuss park works, tabled all of this for future discussions and improvement. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, Bruce. Planning Board, submitted by Matt Francisco. Old Business, Planning Board held a workshop for building inspectors, referral of Hector Marco Antonio Riccone Argentino, a mouthful, on 21 Main Street. Interior alterations for change, expansion of use at first floor from food service, cafe and residential apartment to all food service, cafe, per submitted plans and applications, subject property for Village Code Chapter 134-9, and we'll read the other. At our 4/27 meeting, the Planning Board reviewed the project and set the public hearing for this month, the 25th. We will meet again with the applicant on 5/11 to confirm readiness for public hearing. At that time, the board will approve the SECRA notice to declare lead agency and circulate to the village board, the historic district review board. Zoning, we do not have anything that I see. Town of Phillistown.
Yep, okay, a couple items. Good evening, everybody. Just as you know, indicated a few months ago, the voucher program that we set up for Royal Karting, this was pretty successful so far. We got about 100 and so people start buying up their vouchers already. So if you want one, there's only a few hundred left. So I would advise, if you want to get one of those, get up to the town hall relatively soon. The Betty Bundy Memorial is 100% completed. The bench was delivered and installed about 2 weeks ago from Doug Logan. I think it's a pretty nice bench, and we're looking at doing a dedication one day, maybe a Saturday morning. I don't know exactly when, but we're going to get that done relatively soon. We started the construction on the new building department. We emptied a lot of the cabinets out of there, and we put them into storage, but we're in the process of, we're starting to get going. It's starting to rip it out things and doing some demolition there. So the building department is on its way. So we're making some good progress there. The Avery Road Bridge, I've been talking about the last several months, was slated to start like today. We did get a couple concerns from the Garrison School saying that the buses use that bridge right now. So we got a little debacle going on right now. We got to figure this out, if we're going to be able to wait until school's over or come up with another solution for the kids to take that bus. But it just came up yesterday, as a matter of fact.
It's great when it comes up the day before.
Yeah, I know, unfortunately. So, we also met with the rec department last week, and they're thinking about implementing a training session for any coaches that may be coaching at the rec department. It's a certified program. It takes about 2 to 3 hours. There's a test at the end, but it's called Fit to Coach in New York. So we're looking into this, the possibility, because people get concerned about coaches that we have and so forth like that, especially if they're working for other volunteers, but still they're dealing with the kids, our kids, and everything like that. So it's nothing that it's finalized yet or anything, but it's a possibility. We may look at a program for that. And it's probably a good thing for the coaches as well. Also, we signed a shared agreement with the New York State, such as we have with Putnam County, to use any equipment possibly that the highway department may need. So we just signed that with them as well. So Carl brought that up, and it's a good thing. They have equipment that we may need, and so we could share some of their equipment. They need some of ours, they can borrow ours as well. We also made an appointment to Dennis Gagnon over last week at the planning board. We had an opening for the planning board. We interviewed 3 very qualified candidates, but Dennis was the one that was chosen. And one last item on the agenda, the Washburn parking lot down across from Sandy Beach. We can finish our part of it now. It's up to the state to complete the asphalt piece of that. And I was told they're hoping to get it done by July. So if you see it down here, it looks very nice, but you can't open that gates up until the asphalt is in. So because we'll get wrecked. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. HDRB?
Hi. I'm sorry there's no written report this week. We are working our tails off on a million projects this week, so it's all going to be verbal. Before I give the report, to say to the town of Phillipstown, speaking for myself and not for the HDRB, the neighborhood says thank you. We're so happy to have the Dahlia House coming back and being an active part of the neighborhood again. So, thanks. Okay, HDRB hat. So, we have a ton of regular applications and one-off projects happening right now. We are in the midst of a SHPO audit, the State Historic Preservation Office. This gets done every 4 years as part of maintaining our certified local government status. That's a sort of standard and regular process, and that helps the village maintain its grant eligibility with the state. So Linda Mackey, who's our CLG rep, will be coming Wednesday and Thursday, and she'll be reviewing files and process, observing our monthly meeting, meeting with board members, and she'll also be doing a walking tour of the district to see how the application of our local law is playing out physically across the district. We are screaming through the design standards to make the deadlines for the SHPO grant, which is September 30th. We're making excellent progress, I think. We have divided the standards into 2 chunks. One piece, the actual standards portion, which the consultant is writing up, and then the history of cold spraying and local process pieces being written by board members. We're due to have that delivered to each other on the 12th of May and then on to the consultant on the 19th. They have drafted format, and it's very exciting. It's actually going to be a usable document for the first time in a long time. We have comments back on the draft ordinance from the village attorney. We'll incorporate those and then pass it back to you all. And we're in just an intense period of applications with spring construction. So we have, this monthly meeting is mostly a continuation of the workshops we had last month. There's an addition on 15 Fishkill, an addition on 7 Market. 7 Market is the little gray building in the block between, what's your street again, Greg?
Yep.
New Street and Main Street, next to the Blau House. What's interesting, I think, now having been through a number of years with the board, is seeing the sort of the recapturing of pieces of the district that hadn't got there yet. So folks taking some of the smaller houses, the worker housing, and starting to bring them back as living parts of the district. We'll go back to that language. So 7 is a really special small property on a little parcel, and it was bought by some folks who are very happy to love it. So Greg will have new neighbors. We have the chapel restoration, installing air conditioning, which will make, and heating, I believe, and some electrical panels. So that will make that historic structure more usable. An unusual application, Teresa Corcoran has new Irish Wolfhounds / Greyhounds. They're mixed breed and they're fast, and they're breaking through her electric fence faster than she can train them. So she's wanting to put in an animal enclosure in her backyard. Solar panels coming in on 45 Paulding / 1 Grove Court. It's got a dual address. And we continue to work with 124 Main. That is being converted, as you know, the planning board saw this recently, being converted to overnight accommodation on the upper floors. And the planning board reviewed it. There were no exterior modifications anticipated. And now we're looking at window modification, emergency exit, siding on the back, lighting, don't fit doors anymore. There's a number of things going on, so we're working through that one. And we also have a workshop Wednesday night, the beginning of conversations. There's a proposal to demolish 126 Main, which is in the nationally listed area of the historic district. It's formerly Carolyn's Flower Shop. So that will be I'm sure, a much watched review. Lynn and I met with a member of the Dale family. This was not a family name that I knew, but I have a feeling that folks who've grown up here will recognize that name. They were an illustrious family here, serving as trustees and teachers and attorneys and very engaged civically. It was we met with Faith Supple, who is a grandchild of an attorney whose first name is going out of my head, but that Mr. Dale, say it again?
I think it's John.
John, there's also Chalmers.
Oh, yeah, and
Yeah,
John.
well,
There
there
are quite a few.
a number. At any rate, at one point, that family lived in the dormers, which was the Parrot House where Foodtown is now, correct? At any rate, the grandfather founded something called the Cold Spring Music Society, which was to bring music education to children. It wasn't part of public school programs at that point, and she has amassed a great body of research on that venture and other ventures in the family. And her grandfather was one of the ones who made sure that the bandstand happened for those children to play. So the family would like to memorialize that piece of Cold Spring history. I know she has, that you as trustees have talked about it. Now we're talking with her about materials, et cetera. And we also, Jen, I'll tell you, we passed along your name
I
because
know
you
her already.
Yep, you did lots of research on plaques and things, so she's working that through, and we'll see her again. Another thing, interestingly, tying back in that family to the village is that an uncle, that may have been Chalmers,
That's
may have been
Chalmers,
John, served as trustee. His name's out here on the wall, and he was, in 1973, one of the ones who spearheaded the formation of the historic district. So it all comes full circle. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks, Catherine.
Nothing from Putnam County. I don't think we have anything from the boat club. Fire company not here.
No report.
Do you have something?
No, there's no report.
Okay. Parking committee has not met yet. To talk to Anthony, did not do that. My bad. Tree advisory.
I also did not email you ahead of time this week. Whoops. But when that happens, you know it's only because your unpaid volunteers are working their butts off
Oh,
doing other
boy,
things
there's a lot of
besides making but I'll email a copy of this to Jeff / Mary. So we held our monthly meeting, the Tree Advisory Board, on April 26th this month, last month, whatever. We continue to work on beautification zone tree guards, finishing the utility zone areas, which I gave you a cost report on last weekend, flexible sidewalk research. Our Village Arbor Day ceremony on April 28th was a success. Thank you to the mayor and Trustees Murphy and Early for attending. And a big thank you to Pam Gunther and our local Cub Scouts and Girl Scout troops who really did an awesome job decorating the village that day and helping plant the tree. We will be hearing a proposal May 17th at Village Hall from a property owner at 230 Main Street to remove 46 yew trees on village property, adjacent to their property. They're proposing to replace them with a few specimen trees. After that, we'll be making a recommendation to you about that application.
Is this the corner of Cedar
Yes.
and Maple?
In other board business, we assisted Greg Phillips with research and ordering screening trees to help screen the wastewater treatment plant. Those were delivered today, yay! And we will continue to help with installation planning. Well, it was a lot of work.
She gets excited.
We also secured a donation for over $1,600 from the Cold Spring Boat Club for shrubs and a new wet site tolerant tree that can't be killed by wetness. We installed as per your previous approval last month. We really sincerely thank the Boat Club for such a generous donation and their collaboration on beautifying the village. And as you guys know, they're also doing the labor to paint the fence once the paint is ordered, which is on our suggested work list for the coming weeks. Our new tree holding area at the Highway Department got its first test with the delivery of items to be planted at the Boat Club today. Did it get in the right spot, Greg, or was it?
We're hanging on to it for now.
Okay, shoot, it almost got it today. These plants, those 40 plus a tree, will be stored there until the fence is painted at the Boat Club. So it's already useful spot, or will be when we put them there. We have plans to clean up this area on the highway lot, this little corner where the old cop cars used to be, lay down mulch and have tool storage and some rudimentary cheap watering system for when things like this get delivered so that they don't die and it makes the highway guys' job easier. They don't have to like spray them all the time. We'll be meeting with Charlie Norton this month, hopefully, I haven't set it up yet, but I'm hoping to get his advice and Highway's advice on efficiencies that could be gained in relation to that cost analysis I gave you last month about the unfinished areas on Main Street. Because before I make the first order for the first spots that we do have the money to do, I just wanted to, since we have a new highway foreman again, to pick his brain again, and also see if there's things in that list that they could just do and save us money. And we are working with the local landscape architect and architecture firms River Architects and Figure Ground Studio on concepts and cost estimates for fixing up the broken planters at the foot of Main Street and the decaying planters and problem with stormwater runoff at the top of Main Street, right by the stoplight by the Sunoco station. We've had multiple complaints about both areas. The idea is to get you guys, at pro bono, no cost, a concept drawing and kind of rough cost estimate for a new design for both areas, and that would incorporate stormwater runoff management, which is a big problem in both of those areas. So if we do that, we would open up a lot of funding opportunities grant-wise, which would be really exciting. So we'll also be presenting you a dossier of grant opportunities or funding opportunities to help do this idea that I'm going to convince you to do, because it's awesome. It will be awesome. That's it. And please find attached the tree board's suggested work plan for May for your consideration, which I will gently remind the board had 0 items checked off from last month. So if you guys could take a look, there's highway department items, which includes mulching the trees that were planted last fall and the trees that were just planted this spring, ordering paint for the fence, and addressing several pressing removals or pruning needs that are or may be dangerous. So if you could take a look at those and get back to us on those, I appreciate it.
Jen, I thought that the 2 trees, the Garden Street tree and the Church Street tree.
Yes, but there are 2 more trees. There were 4 of them, so there's 2 left. Those, sorry, I shouldn't chastise. That those 2 of those trees were, you approved those, and those are
Okay.
on Jerry Allen's list, and he
Okay.
should be getting to those this week and the beginning of next week. I called to remind him again.
So where are these 2?
The remaining 2, one is on Paulding, near the Food Town side where it connects with Chestnut Street, in the vicinity of where we removed a tree last year.
Oh, by DeVico's house.
And one is a small tree, there's actually several, but there's one that's had many complaints about it, that's south of on South Main, or on whatever you call it, the foot of Main Street, underneath the tunnel overpass. There's a small maple that's totally dead there. The other things are at 69 Chestnut Street. There's a dead branch that continues to come down, and we get a lot of emails about it, and we just need to get it out. 2 Cherry Street, there's a Norway maple that has a very significantly rotted leader that's now losing branches. And at 2 Main Street, we just got an email, I haven't inspected that one yet. Adjacent to the Hudson House, there's a bunch of dead limbs that are hanging and falling.
These last 3 trees, you have funding for these? Are you asking us for funding for these?
No,
or-
I mean, this is a perennial problem.
Okay.
But I
Well-
thought are they, okay, so the 2 trees, number 5, those are not the 2 trees we talked about taking
No.
down?
In July of last year, we gave you 6 trees. So of those 6 trees, we have 2 that we're taking care of, 5 trees. 1 that was taken care of immediately, 2 that will be taken care of in the next weeks that Jerry Allen's doing, and then there's 2 left that are still not addressed from that list, the original list of pressing trees.
And how much do we need for the 2 remaining ones?
And can't
It's
they
in that-
wait for 2-3 weeks? Those ones?
You
to
shouldn't,
take down?
don't ask me, I am not a professional.
Well,
If
I'm
something
just
falls on
saying,
someone, it's not
as soon
like-
as we go into the next year, we have funding.
Right.
So right now, I'm not sure we can.
I can, offline, I can talk to you about that,
Talk
but
to yourself.
the 2 trees from July are different than the other.
Right.
6A through C are just dead limbs that are in danger of falling. They're wedged and or about to fall, so
Yeah.
those are less those are, $100 costs versus $1,000 costs.
If you're talking to Jerry, could you ask him about those 2 for a price, or do you
Yeah.
want me to follow up?
No, I could totally. My problem is, I talk to them and people are very happy to add stuff on and stuff, but I have no money to do anything. And so
Well, if
it's
we
up
knew
to-
what that cost was for those trees. then-
Yeah,
we
Is
can
that
find
then you
it.
could find the money?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get you that, if you can add those
Okay.
dead limbs onto that.
Yes.
That sound
Yeah,
good?
we can definitely do those, I'm sure. The others, if we wait a few weeks and went through
To
the
take out the
new fiscal
next.
year, we can, we'll have funding for it.
Okay, sounds good.
Just
Go ahead, Frank.
the painting of the fence, on those new fences we just put up
Yeah.
at the end of the project, they need to be painted.
On Main Street.
Cedar, they haven't been stained or
They haven't been
anything.
stained yet.
So they need to be stained.
Well, the rest of them on the waterfront are all stained that a certain color, and if you intend to stain them, the boat club has volunteered to do that labor for you with their professional sprayer, with a couple of their members. But you just need to buy the paint, or the stain, whatever it's called. And so we're waiting on that to happen before we plant all those things, because it requires,
They have some stained down here.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't he stain for the benches?
No. Brown on the bench.
Yeah, that's painted.
and the other item that costs money is mulch, and I did the calculations, and we probably need 4 to 5 yards of mulch, which is like $23, depending on who you call a yard. So that would probably cover all the trees we planted last fall, plus all the areas on Main Street where we just planted those trees, so it wouldn't be mud for right now. I have mulch on the highway department property right now, but that's spoken for. I had that donated, and I'm using it for something else. So, I
So
should
you
try
need
to.
about 4 to 5 yards of mulch and about $25 a year.
Yeah, probably deliver it if you speak on that.
Contact was supposed to have delivered a tree to the highway department on Friday. Do you know where it is?
No.
Because I can't find it.
I saw Contact's truck leaving the village this morning. I wonder if he delivered today.
I'll be there
Delivered.
tomorrow morning, so I'll look and see if I can find.
I was down there just now, and it's nowhere to be, where I would have thought it would be. So I've sent them, but I wanted to check with you. I've sent them an email, said, where did you put it?
Okay, I'll look at it tomorrow
Okay.
morning when I go. I'm gonna go down and look at the trees that were delivered to Greg's lot too, so I'll.
It should still be bald, so it should be kind of obvious.
Yeah, and it's one of those elms, right, so it's very big.
Yeah.
I'll look for it.
You need the mayor's signature on something?
Yeah, that's just an outstanding item, Dave, I just put that on there, because if you sign, we have applied to be Tree City USA, which is just like a good designation, but also gets us points on grant applications, so we've met all the qualifications for 3 years, we might as well just be a Tree City USA, so if they would just sign, I sent you an email, you just sign the application.
Okay.
We're good. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Chair.
Thanks for sending that information. So you want.
Code update?
Code update held 2 meetings in April. The committee continued outline preparation and research into the 7 topics in the appearance category, primarily in the area of size and bulk. The committee continues to make progress on B3, which is one of the categories, which is the area that is currently occupied by the Nest and M&T Bank. And they are evaluating the size and bulk standards for MU1, which is the mixed-use district, which is a new proposed district. And the thinking is that the MU1 bulk and size will be based on the bulk and size for I1. Background is MU1 would take over the properties that are currently in the I1 district. The committee has reviewed the proposed recommendations on 3-story buildings in B1 and will review the inventory of those buildings to determine if any changes are required. The thinking right now is that we will not change the code because of the few number of buildings in B1 that would be permitted to add a 3rd story based upon the historic district, the National Historic District guidelines for adding a story on a building. The committee is close to finalizing the topic of landscaping in and around parking lots. A bit more work is required on that topic. Lastly, the committee is reviewing the signs code from 2 other municipalities to determine if the standards in those codes are appropriate for the village.
Is that like permanent signs on buildings or temporary too?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Before we go to Greg, I just wanted to say thank you. I mean, I joke around that people are saying that they put a lot of time in, but I know our boards really put a lot of time in, way more than I think is usual for boards. So, yeah, although I kid, I'm really grateful to have some people that really put a lot of time into their work and take pride in it and take it serious. So, Jen and Kathleen, you're here tonight. Thank you, and thank you, Matt, and the other people that are on the boards. It's not easy to find volunteers anymore, and the ones that are here are really stretched. So, anyway, thank you all. Smiley, yes.
Oh, you're like-
too much smile.
I was ready to jump up, you're gonna go. All right, we start with the water department. Report.
About the noise.
What's that? No, noise comes later. Right now, okay, reservoir status 100%, raining plenty. Everyone knows it. It's good stuff. Flows are down too. We're 9.7% over, under last year's. At this time, the rain's helped. People aren't watering, and it's all good. And it's been cool, so early plantings really don't need the help of the potable supply. The meter replacement project. Contractor has had a plumber in the area about 1 day per week, attempting to correct any issues cited by our engineer during the course of the project. Punch list type of thing. If there were things that needed to be moved, changed, or whatever, they've been working off of that list, as well as trying to get a hold of the less than 20 at this point accounts that aren't finished yet. And they're going to be here Friday, and it looks like that's probably going to be the last day. So for those out there, after that, the replacements are still going to happen, but they're going to be the responsibility of the property owner at their expense.
Greg, what will you do at the next water billing period for, let's say the 20 accounts remain uncellular?
Well, in theory, they still have the remotes set up, and so you can still take a reading from the remote. I think, so in that sense, that's the way we can go with it, but there has to be a point in time where, we come up with, whether it be a penalty or some sort of assessment that says, all right, look, enough's enough.
So maybe we should have that discussion after the next cycle of bills.
Okay. And with that, utility billing for the first quarter of 2017 went out a couple of days later than usual, as the clerk's office had a lot of changes to coordinate between the meter and billing software programs. But the payment due dates were also pushed back. So, you still got the same amount of time to pay your bill. It's just they went out about, I think, 8 or 9 days later than they wanted to. And it's going to get easier from here. We kind of knew the first one was going to be tough, and it was very. And so it's going to hopefully hold downhill from there. The Upper Reservoir Dam Rehabilitation Project, we have received the draft report, which was distributed to the board recently. We are currently developing a list of comments and plan to set up a meeting with Tectonic to discuss in more detail. That'll help us pare down the draft toward a finalized document, which would then be ready for presentation to the board as well as the public, or kind of what the project can start to look like, and come to an agreement on what that is. Because as you saw in the report, there's plenty of options in there as to how it can go. Right now, Bart and I are kind of focusing more, not the access parts yet. That's something that certainly the board's going to need to be involved in. There's going to be some property issues. There's going to be some purchases or takings or whatever. But along the lines of the structural stuff that we have questions about, we're going to get that stuff down first, because that really doesn't, it won't have a lot to do with input from, anyone other than the engineers and people under operation. So we're going to do that first and then come to you guys.
In reading through the executive summary, there were a number of terms that were used there that I could understand the term, but I couldn't relate where that thing was in the dam. So, spillway, I think I understand where a spillway is, but there were phrases or words that represented what I think are pieces of the dam, and I just didn't know where they were. Would it be possible, I know that there were a lot of drawings in there, would it be possible to provide a diagram of what the elements of
Sure.
a dam are, that
A markup.
that represent the problem areas, because that's what the executive summary
Right.
is talking about, is, this is eroded, or it's moved, or blah, 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 blah.
I think that should be easy enough to do.
It's for dummies, you know.
That's why I'll put it together.
Dams for dummies, if you could.
No problem.
Thank you.
We're on that. So the first meeting that'll involve Bart, myself, and Tech Times people, we're hoping to have happen next week, possibly Thursday, over in Mountainville, where their office is. Hydrant flush, as is typical at this time of year. You may know this if you've lived here more than a year. This time of year, the water starts to get a little discolored. It's happened forever, and it's probably going to happen forever, and it normally happens right around now. We've been receiving discoloration complaints in various parts of the system, and in response, we have scheduled a hydrant flush to begin Sunday, the 21st, at 9 o'clock at night. It runs each night in overnight hours from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m., and so it finishes up by the morning of Friday, the 26th, which is just before Memorial Day holiday weekend. It's not easy. I've had a few people kind of ask you why it takes so long for us to get stuff done, and I don't think they realize that when we say departments, it makes it sound like there's a whole department, and there isn't. So it takes a while to get, Scott, my assistant, to be able to shift the nights and then get somebody to help them, because it's not just something where you just tell somebody to go out there and just start opening hydrants. There's actually a method to the madness in order to get things cleared up. So it takes a while to get it scheduled. So that's why it'll be a couple more weeks of frustration, I guess. But thanks for the patience of all who have it. The annual drinking water quality report for the operating year of 2016 is being finalized and will be forwarded to the board for review later this week, and then to the printer next week, and out to residents, which is a state requirement by the end of the month. And that's what's going to come to you is pretty much, it's the data that changes every year slightly. We have no violations, but I'll send you a highlighted copy of what data has changed since the last time through, and then that's pretty much all it is. Okay. Anything else on water? Okay. Wastewater. The sewer rehabilitation project, Fair Market Fish in North Streets. The memo I sent out to you guys back on the 8th just talked about the cleaning and inspection of the collection mains within the scope of the relining project has been completed, and upon the review of the reports, we have received recommendations from National Water Main Cleaning Company regarding the conditions found. First, they feel that the line on Fair Street can be rehabilitated without excavation and with the normal liner process. We had contingencies in there for 20-foot deep excavations wherever they were needed, and these things that are called point repairs or short liners to repair heavily damaged stuff before they could do the normal lining process. All of those things cost a lot more than the normal lining process. After review and cleaning and inspection of what they saw as of now, they found that they believe they're going to be able to do the whole thing with the conventional lining process, which is going to save a good amount of money. So that's good news. However, there's a small amount of additional work on Fair Street, which includes, they're called T-liners. When a service lateral comes into the main, it comes in at an intersection, it's shape of a T if you look at a cross section of it, and that is a T-liner. Actually goes up into the lateral by about 8 inches to a foot, and it just reinforces that section. There are some sections where it's actually been blown out, and you can actually see some earth in there. Some chunks of the tile have come out, either on the connection at the main or the lateral itself coming into it. So in order to fortify that, it really doesn't do anything for the lateral. The property owners are still at some point going to have to contend with that, but it gets us to the point where it connects to the main. It'll be structural when this is done. In the original, the base bid for the entire project, there were 16 of them on Fair Street. I know where you're asking me about where they would be. The project goes from manhole 36, which is at Northern Avenue and Fair, and it comes down right here on Main Street, which is number 32, and it's just running the whole length of Fair Street in between. And there were 16 of them when we inspected it 3 years ago. 16 of them that were found to be, we were going to need these T-liners. When they came back now, this is where the additional 5 is. So there's a total of 21. So where they are, they're everywhere. There's only about 30 properties on the street, so it's most of them. And they had one section where they figured they found in what they saw that they were going to have a heavy cleaning, which is another $550 onto that. So the subtotal for Fair Street is an additional $12,175. And then on Market Street, there's 2 spots where they needed to add T-liners in, and 2 heavy cleaning areas as well for a total of $5,750. So the additional work is recommended, and it fits within the contingency budgeted for the project at a total cost of $17,925. Now, because of the savings afforded by the ability to perform trenchless work on Fair Street, we have enough room in the budget to consider bid alternates 1 and 2. Bid alternates 1 and 2 involved a couple of sections of Market Street, which is, as soon as you cross Lund Terrace and you go to turn toward the river, the first manhole that is there is manhole 9. From there to heading toward Metro North, the first manhole over is 8. And then from that manhole down to just before Metro North, those areas weren't originally going to be part of the project. They were bid alternates if we had the money, and we do. So recommending to get those done as well while we're down there. They actually, the contractor gave us the rate. Normally with the bid alternates, the rates are, messed with a little bit, and they decided if we're doing it all at once while they're here, it was the same rate, which saves a little bit of money as well. So that works out, and that is a total of $18,208.50. So we had a total budget for everything plus contingency at $296,000. The amount of the base bid, which we awarded already, is $166.25. And so when we add in the total amount of extras and alternates we just talked about at $36,133, and subtract that from the $296, we're under budget by about $90,000. So that's a good thing, right? And we're not even looking for another place to spend that right now. We're just going to save it. Not going to spend it. So, so the resolutions to fund the total project and to accept the base bid have already passed, but I request that you discuss and consider a motion to include the cost of the additional work and bid alternates 1 and 2 at your convenience. Tonight would be good, if you can.
Do you have that tonight, or can you draft that for us and we'll pass
I
it
can,
next week?
we talked about, yes, I'll draft it, get it over to you. They want to be able to move it if they can, just know that it's coming. I can give them a verbal that it's coming and just get the.
Do you just need a motion, since you said the resolution?
I think so. I mean, everything else, you've already approved the 296. This is within the 296, so it's just saying, yes, we're gonna spend, this extra amount.
I'd like to have it, if we could have it in
Yeah,
writing.
absolutely.
So we can just read it off then.
Okay, so where else am I? Market Street Pump Station Replacement Project. Bids were opened last Friday, the 5th. 4 were received, ranging in price from $224,000 and $224 and $24 to an upward of $448,130.08. Laura Clark is preparing a summary of bids and checking qualifications of the bidders to determine the lowest responsible bidder. The 2 lowest bids are below the ban amount that we had. We banned at $351 for the project, and the lowest at $224 is significantly lower. The next one up, I think, is about $324, so also lower. And so he's got to check the references and qualifications of the lowest bidder to make sure that they would be responsible to be able to get the job done for us without issue, and also that they meet the MWBE and all of the good stuff that we get to contend with on the finance side. Okay, so that's it on those projects. And then the last thing to discuss is the wastewater treatment plant facility grounds. 4 white pines and a dozen arborvitae were delivered today. Thanks, Jen. She's in there. She is. She's helped us a great deal in knowing what we need and where it can go and telling us where to put it. So it's going to start to look really good down there for a while. And so hopefully we're going to get them in the ground in the next week or so. So again, many thanks to Jen. And then on a related topic to that, we have been investigating the costs involved in constructing a wall on the east side of the new blower building. Neighboring property owners have expressed concern over the noises emanating from the open-sided building. The first rendering from BART involved concrete block for sound attenuation. It was estimated to be in the vicinity of $37,000. Trustee Villotto expressed interest in exploring an insulated metal fabric wall to match the rest of the building. This option is one in which he's expressed also the ability to assist us in construction, so we will definitely take him up on that, thus saving us in the overall cost. We were expecting to have the materials quote today, but we hadn't got it by the time I got over here, but forward it as it comes. The 2 garage bay doors, we know they're going to total $11,000 to put in. It's the materials for the building and all the structure the girts and whatever they're called that hold everything, the clips in place for the metal wall. And then we'll give you the final price on it. We're still under bid on that whole project. We're under the budget on it. I checked with Michelle, so that, we have room to work with it, but we still want to, get to the final number and go from there.
That's good news.
Okay?
That's good news.
That's it.
Thank
I
you.
got your doors tomorrow, by the way.
Excellent. All right.
I'll
Thank
drop
you.
them off. Yeah.
See ya.
Next, code enforcement. Permits 10, alarms none, fire alarm 0, building fire and complaint inspections 12, C of O's 6, complaints and violations 10, referrals 3, annual fire safety 0, report 0, occupancy 0. Trying your fire safety and property inspections 5, and reports 3. Noise ordinance 0, pyrotechnic 0, record search 6, building and fire inspection plan review 2, new matters before code enforcement 22, dumpster and pod permits 2, foil 0, meetings and appointments 11, fees collected in April $2,056. Other matters 8. William Bajarski.
He's got a lot of Butterfield stuff on this, since this being inspected by, the inspector.
I didn't notice that. Or if he does the permit.
Front page. Floor tending space, 0 final inspection, he's got 2
He does,
here.
he does a final inspection.
He's got 2 here, 0 compliance.
Which one?
Second page top.
Yeah, I don't know why he's doing this. I'll ask. He shouldn't be doing this. The final inspections he has to do, but not those.
Couple more down here, he's got training fire inspection, and then the building, what is he doing?
I don't know why he's doing those either. Next, we have the police department report. I'd like to introduce everyone to our new officer in charge, Officer Larry Burke. Larry showed up tonight. Thank you. I'm sure this is your first week, 2 weeks?
Second kind of week, more like first week, but it's.
Okay. If you have a short, I know he gave us a short report, which is all numbers, which I talked to him about before, so we won't go over that, but if you want to mention a few other things, feel free. I
Yes.
know Officer Kaminsky has had some work of note lately.
Yes, Officer Kaminsky works preferably the midnight shift, and I believe it was on April 29th, he got a call of a 911 hang-up. 911 hang-ups are usually, it's somebody messing with the phone. Usually it's a false alarm. I should say always, but most of the time that's what happens. He responded to the location, and upon getting into the location, there was a person there that was not breathing. There was, nothing going on. Officer Kaminsky performed CPR for a bunch of minutes until the ambulance arrived behind him. He was able to revive the person, and then the ambulance removed the person over to the hospital. So I just wanted to have recognition on that great job by Officer Kaminsky on performing the CPR and reviving the individual.
Thank you.
And how's everything else going?
Everything else going well. I look forward to working with everybody as I have been for the last 4 years that I've been here. My door is always open to everybody. I'm going to be learning, so if you could bear with me on a few things, and I'm just going to do the best that I can.
Thank you.
I also heard that Ed Bollinger had fallen down stairs
Yes.
today. Is he okay?
Ed's doing well. For that last time I spoke to Ed, he responded to an incident where somehow it was a dark area and Ed had fallen down, supposedly a whole bunch of stairs into a basement. Thank God, anything wrong with Ed was what I believe he broke his finger. I have not confirmed that whole thing yet. I spoke to him today. He said he was doing fine, little bumps and bruises, and he was waiting to see his primary doctor.
Okay. Give our best to edit if we don't see him, please.
I will. Most certainly
And
will.
thank Officer Kaminsky, I think that's great, so thank him, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir, we're gonna talk to him.
What's that?
He just said he should-
Justice Court, fines, forfeited bails, and civil penalties, $3,555. Parking tickets, $3,405. Civil fees, $280. Mandatory state surcharges, $2,043 for a total of $9,283. Submitted respectfully, Judge Thomas Costello. Report, Mayor, Board of Trustees. I just have a couple of things. Tomorrow I will be, tentatively scheduled a meeting with Supervisor Shea and Building Inspector Greg Leonard from Phillipstown, and with Jeff also Vidakovich from the office here to discuss consolidation and hammer out a few more points. And hopefully at the end of that meeting we'll have a plan, a set plan, which I can bring before the board the following week. So that'll be tomorrow. I did get a call from, and just want to shout out to Lisa Lang. She's at Phillipstown Garden Club. She called regarding the planter. It's not actually on our property. It's the entrance to the village at the fork, on the northern fork of 90 and Fair Street. Apparently, I guess DOT, or I'm not sure who plows that state, had smashed the planter. So there's 6x6 ties. So she asked if we could, do something about it. As I was looking for ways to do that and telling her it wasn't actually our property, she had contacted them, and she said that they responded quickly and it's finished already. So they went down there and redid
We need her on another
we
board.
redid the 6x6 box for them. So thank you to her, and she took it upon herself and worked on them, and probably the first thing DOT has done quickly ever.
Notice,
And
DOT, instantly.
yeah, might have to get her on before some kind of a poll, I think that's all I have for now on that. Is anyone else on the board?
I have a few things.
Okay.
I met with Jack Goldstein this week, and he was representing the Chamber of Commerce, and he was asking about the cost of the bathrooms down at the end of Main Street and how that works and so on. So I had pulled up some numbers for him regarding what it cost us for Russ over the past year, estimating how many hours he does of cleaning the bathroom, and also what it costs us for supplies for that bathroom. He's going to go back to the chamber and ask them if they could approve helping us with this by sending us. He's gonna ask them to send us half of what it costs us. He's not guaranteeing what they're gonna do, but that was his plan, to sort of partner with us on the use of the payment of the bathrooms down there. So he's gonna go back to the board and ask them, and then he'll get back to us. He also said that I believe Harry Fatty is still going to be manning the chamber office down at the end of Main Street, which is nice because Harry's comfortable down there. So that's that. I had to track down, because I knew that these had come and they got lost in the mail, the invitations for the Memorial Day parade that should have come to everyone, and unfortunately the email got lost. I guess I sent them by email this year, but the Memorial Day parade is Monday, Memorial Day, so we're all invited to participate and to start down at the foot of Main Street at 8:30, because the parade will step off exactly at 9 o'clock. And that one, and you want to do this now, or do you want to do this?
Yeah, we can do that now if you want, sure.
Catherine Carnival in the village has talked to us for a number of years, I guess, about the garbage cans on Main Street, and has asked us, she wanted to donate a couple of the garbage cans, and we just had to give her some information about what we needed, what we wanted. So we finally did come up with some garbage cans that we like, and we sent her some information. We sent her the pricing on it. She has sent us a check for $1,000 to pay for probably about 3 garbage cans, or close to 3, and then we in turn are going to try to come up and get an additional 2 or 3 to match. So we have money for 3 brand new garbage cans, thanks to Catherine Carnival, and we're gonna get a regular one and a recycle buckets and put them together along Main Street. So we're gonna work on that. But that was, she was at the point where I think she was ready to kill us, because we said, I have the money, I wanna pay, So we finally finally found something that's nice. It's similar to what we have out there, but that'll be new and that'll be nice.
So we'll follow up with, and if everyone agrees, I think we should, if we can get 3 to match those 3, it'd be like another $1,000. So talk to Michelle if we have that, if everyone agrees, so that we can replace some of the ones that are on Main Street and
Go Pops will
tear
spring
them
for
up.
one.
What's that?
Go Pops will spring for one, we just asked it today.
Okay, great.
Okay, that works.
Way here forward. So I'll come back next week with that, but I think we can move ahead with that. Does anyone have a problem with ordering 3
No.
3 more from the village?
Okay, so we'll go with 6.
Yeah. I'll talk to Michelle
Wait,
more.
Lynn just found some.
Lynn just found some. Now we only have to find, okay.
So I'll
Got it.
6 for next week, that's it for now.
Steve, anything?
Nothing, no.
Marie? No? Okay. Let's see, where were we here?
I've
Okay.
got a little something.
What's that?
I've got
Oh,
a
sorry.
little
Oh, I thought I had asked you. I'm sorry.
Tara Carroll from Old Souls sent a very exciting email around to merchants a couple days ago, where they're organizing another shop and sip event on Main Street for June 17th. And I'll just read the email out. Back in December, a group of shops on Main Street developed the idea of a sip and shop on Main Street, which was advertised in the current PCNR and Facebook, Instagram, and through each store's own email lists. We invited the public to come to shop our stores, bring friends, and enjoy beverages and snacks for a special experience in our beautiful village. It was hugely successful. For the next Sip and Shop event, we are partnering with Scenic Hudson and Hudson Highlands Land Trust to promote something that everyone in Maine is super excited about, the Fjord Trail. Scenic Hudson and Hudson Highland Land Trust will be stationing staff on Main Street during the event to provide informational materials and offer Q&A on the Fjord Trail for those that come to the event. It'll work kind of like the Shop Local, where they will provide participating shops marketing materials and so forth, so we can talk about these things. And they're encouraging people to get a temporary permit to serve beverages. And I don't know, that's very exciting. I would like to, I had the idea that we might encourage our first responders to participate in this, to let the public know about the number of rescues that they're engaging in on a weekly basis, and to try to get more information out to the public on how to safely hike our trails and have very low impact on the trails and the village. So, I thought that was very exciting, and I hope everyone, all the merchants on Main Street will participate. I've also gotten some enthusiasm from other merchants on Main Street to try to lobby the Putnam County Legislature to share some sales tax revenue. I think merchants are starting to realize that we're paying a lot, we're collecting a lot of sales tax, and, we need the benefits of it here in the village, and the merchants do too. So, I'm gonna start gathering some groups to go up there and make our presence known.
I think that's great.
Then when was the first, what is it, Sip and Shop?
It was in December, like right before Christmas, right?
December 13th.
Yeah, and it was just a limited number of shops then, I believe like 4 or 5 of them. But now you guys have opened it up to all the merchants on Main Street, so hopefully the larger participation will kind of get awareness about the impacts, but also the wonderfulness of the place that we live and the impacts of tourism. So. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Thank you. Correspondence, we have one letter from Jeffrey Butler requesting a waiver of the fine for a water fee with a long explanation. They've obviously have paid on time for a very long time, so I'd like to make a motion to waive the penalty. I think it was a late fee was only $19.20, so I'll make a motion to waive that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I just need to.
However, this has been turned over to Putnam County already.
Oh, really?
For collection.
We
That
need to track
happened,
it down.
that happened in April, so we need to take some action to make sure that they don't get, their county tax bill does not contain the amount of the base water fee and the interest.
I believe, and I spoke to Jeff and Mary about this today, the impression I got is that they will get it on their county tax bill and they will pay it, but we will credit them on their next water bill for the interest amount. But I'll verify that and I'll send everyone a note.
But, sir, that they would be getting billed on their county bill, I would think, for both the base bill and the interest.
Right. They
So
will pay
if
it.
they were going to get credit, they would get credit for both the base bill and the interest.
No, I believe that with the water bill system that we control here, we can just put a credit onto their next water bill for $19.20, not the county bill, the water bill.
My point is that the county bill will include both the base bill
Right.
and the interest. So they need to get credit for both the base bill and the interest. Not just the interest, it's the
Don't
base.
they have to pay the water bill, the base bill?
The implication from their letter is that they paid their water bill and they're asking the village to waive the late fee. The village had already turned over the water bill and the interest to the county, which was then included, that would be included in their county taxes.
Right.
So we need to make sure they get credit.
For everything, okay, I will double check it with Jeff and Mary.
Okay.
Okay, next is Cindy Balloon, who used to sit right down there for many years, has written a letter of resignation. Her husband has, medical issues that she has to attend to and drive him, all over the area, from New York City over to Middletown. So she, her time is limited, so she's resigning. She started in 1996 to 98, taking minutes for various boards and assisting the Justice Court. And she was not around for a couple of years, and then in June 2000, she again worked for the village, taking minutes for boards until July of 2001. And she returned to village employment in January of 2011 and has worked until the current date. So thank you, Sandy, for all your work in all those years, and make a motion to accept her resignation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Old business, appointment of acting justice, it's currently vacant. Al Steiner did hold that position and then resigned. And we didn't have, it's basically a substitute if Judge Costello needs a substitute, someone to come in if for any reason he's not here, which seldom if ever happens, I guess. And so Camille Linson, who was just named to the Phillipstown, as Phillipstown Justice, or just elected actually. I talked to her and she agreed to take on this position. So she's going to contact Mary. Mary's going to get all the material she needs to take care of business, and at that point she'd be our new justice if we so vote tonight. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint Camille Linson as our acting justice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that is it's been budgeted for. Next is sale. There's a number of property requests. Moffett Road property, which is an acre property. I guess we can start with that one. It's different than our Main Street properties and stoops or anything like that. It's basically an acre. It was purchased by the village it's right next to the aqueduct. It's at the corner of Moffett and Healy. So it's right now it's just open land. It's like a field. The person that bought the adjacent land to the south would like to purchase that property. Her name is Susan Green. So we have the tax map and everything, but what we don't have is we really need an appraisal. And I'm not sure. I think that the appraisal, I'm willing to sell it if everyone else is, but I think the appraisal should be paid by them, because I have no idea what they're going to offer or how to go about it. I mean, we could ask them if they'd like to make, make an offer, but we really have to receive the amount that it's worth, so, and we don't know what it's worth right now, so we need an appraisal, and so.
And she says she's willing to be responsible for the appraisal fee.
Okay. So, so I guess the question is, we talked to Greg already, and Greg and Bart, and they see no need to keep the piece of property. It's too small to, it's less than an acre, so we can't build on it or sell it as a building lot. So it's, the only use would be for someone like this situation, a neighbor or someone adjoining. So, feelings on that?
So, we do have a common area. I think I sent everybody the amount for a comparable piece of land in that area. So, when Ms. Green pays for the appraisal, that appraisal should at least be equal to what we see.
Well, the appraisal will include comps.
You would think that, yes.
The law says we have to sell it for market value.
Yes, right.
Now, do we appoint an appraiser, or does she get some?
Well, she
She
said.
says she paid the fee.
Right, so, I guess a letter back to her saying that we would like to proceed. I don't know what an appraisal costs for a piece of property, because we would ask that you put that amount in, at least that amount in the escrow account.
Well, we had Hartford did his, and it was it $1,800 or something?
Yeah, I
like
think
that?
they're around.
And that was a tiny piece of
And that
property.
was just to
Yeah.
do the appraisal for his front,
What was the price?
like $1,800 or
It's
something.
ridiculous.
It was a lot.
It was at least that.
We ended up combining the numbers and letting them go with that.
So that sounds reasonable, 1,800. I don't know
I don't know.
who,
This one sounds a little more complicated than
Yeah.
Hartford's.
I know there's professional, there's
Like
not
survey
doing
and
it
everything?
in the area.
do you know who let them? Camille Nixon.
I know the school, you had to use someone when they did the property, I forget his name, it's in Garrison. Anyway, I would say, it's a McGrath, but not related to
No.
it.
So Jeff can respond to her tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
By the way, there's another piece of property that we own,
What's that we know?
that we own off of Moffett Road. It's a small, slightly smaller piece of property. Why don't we ask her if she's interested in that as well?
Is it
Right
connected
there.
with
I
hers?
don't, I've been looking at the Putnam County online database, and I can't get, they have two different tax page numbers. I can't get a view of whether or not they are contiguous.
Well,
But I do
Can
have the.
identify it, we can ask her.
I have it at home.
The next, another sort of complicated one is 37 Fair Street, which is the property we own behind the dilapidated Pelletieri building. We own, I believe there's 60 feet back there. We own 30 feet of it, 30 feet by 125, which then slopes down to the highway garage.
Is there anyone here representing the owner?
No.
Didn't we get a second email that says the village actually owns 36 feet?
We might have.
What he said, there was an email that said that the 37 Fair Street is currently using the 30 by 125 foot strip of land that they would like to purchase.
And then it should read on, it says, behind the garage is 65 feet of flat land, 29 of which is in Pelletieri's property, 36 feet village property, then the land slopes down. So I don't know if I'm not willing to sell 30 feet if it's 36 feet. He buys the whole thing or he doesn't. Because 6 feet is more useless to us than 30 is.
Well, one of the things that we should consider is that if we agree to the sale, the buyer should be required to put up a retaining wall to provide assurance that we are not going to have any sort of collapse of that slope. I thought we had asked them what they plan to use 30 by 125 for. Is that where a building is going to be located? Is that where they're going to be parking cars? I would like to know the answer to that.
Okay, so let's get a request.
Okay,
I'll have Jeff contact them
okay.
and ask them if it's 36 feet, or first of all, because there's conflicting numbers there for purchasing. And also the retaining wall and use.
Well, there's not conflicting numbers.
What's that?
There's not conflicting numbers. From the end of the garage to the end of the property line.
It says 36 village property, then the land slopes down.
Yes,
But on the up here, it goes 30 by 125.
right, he wants to purchase 35 feet deep and 125 feet wide.
Why is there 30 by 125 if we own 36 feet before it starts to slope?
So.
No, I'm reading this.
Yeah.
I'm just reading
Okay.
what he's asking.
So what he's saying is that the property, the current property is
Mhm.
125 feet by 100 feet.
Mhm.
And I believe what had happened in the past is that our car dealership utilized a piece of property that was actually owned by the village.
It says 30 by 125 in question, which I would think in question means the piece of property we own.
Yes.
So that's 30 by 125,
Right.
different from 36.
I don't know where 36 came.
36 is right here.
Okay, so what they want to do is they want to purchase 30 by 125. And what they threw in was that there's 36 feet of flat land behind the garage, not the whole property, but behind the garage structure. The land goes 36 feet flat, and then, and of that 36 feet flat, 29 is owned by Impel, and 36 is owned by the village.
So
At the
the
end-
No, it's 65 feet is flat. 29 is Impel's, 36 is village property.
I thought that's what I said. If I didn't say that, I apologize.
No, you didn't.
So what they want is to purchase 30 feet of that 36.
I don't think we should sell them 30
Well,
by 36.
along with
They
what
either-
she's
They either
saying.
buy 36 or they don't buy, why should we keep?
Well, then
60?
why would they
We
put a
don't want the
retaining
60.
wall on our property?
I would never ask them to put a retaining
You
wall.
just said that we should require them to put a retaining wall
I
on.
didn't say where. It should be on their property.
But if it's 30 feet, that means there's 6 more feet before it starts sloping down.
So why not ask them?
What, they gonna ask them to dig it out also?
Why not?
No, tell them to buy the whole 36.
I'm gonna end this conversation right now. We're gonna contact them and
Okay.
see if if it's 36 or 30, and if they would like to, if they wanna buy 30 feet of it, we'll find out. We'll see what their intentions are, okay? So I'll ask Jeff to contact them. Doesn't seem clear on there. Sorry, we have that. Okay, the last is 69 Main Street, Stu. We discussed this last week. My concern was that we would lose control of, if outdoor dining or anything in the future was put into our codes. I contacted our attorney, who said it wouldn't affect that we would still have control if there was outdoor dining, and we had a code that covered that, whether people own the stoop or not. We could enforce, fees. So I personally have no problem selling that property, along with the usual, they have to, all fees or any costs involved would be from the property owner, not the village. And I think, is it $4 a square foot? Is that what
Yeah.
we did?
That was our number.
Okay, so the same number we've been the same square foot number we've been using, and all fees would go to the property owners. So I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You waited all that time, you waited all that time for that.
How many square feet is it?
Yeah.
Do we know what that is?
About,
100?
if that, yeah, maybe 80.
So we will need a survey with,
You gave.
with
yeah.
meets and bounds.
Separate from what I gave you?
I have to, I'll show.
I don't
I'll
have
show.
anything in the package.
We had it last week and I'll show it to you.
With the meets and bounds?
January. Let me see. Wrong package. Oh, I have it in the office, Maria, I'll show you, it was what we had last week.
Okay, if we need something more,
You'll let me know.
we'll get it.
Okay.
Next was the approval of the fireworks agreement.
Discussion of lighting.
What's that?
Discussion of lighting position.
Oh, okay. Yeah, jumping ahead, I remember we had to go back to it. The labor, the discussion on the labor position is just the amount that we should charge. I think we need to hire a full-time. I was hoping not to, but I think full-time is needed. We didn't have an hourly rate on that. What we had advertised for was temporary. What we had paid for summer help was $12 an hour. I don't think we could still advertise for summer help for $12 an hour, but if we're going for a labor position, we're not gonna get anyone that's gonna come in for $12 an hour, I don't think. We had 2 people apply. One I contacted and didn't respond. One person did come in. They're working as laborer for a local landscaper, and they're making $18 an hour. So I just open that up for any thoughts on if we have a full-time position, as starting highway, what we should start that off at. So when I'm talking to some people that are coming in that are applying,
What are we currently paying?
what are we currently paying?
Right.
I don't know, we don't have anyone that's a step 1, I guess, or whatever you'd call it.
What's the least, what is the least amount?
The least amount that we're paying now, and that's someone with a CDL, is $19.
Okay, and the CDL was what, $2?
$2, yeah.
So we're talking 17
So,
at most.
yeah, I mean, or else it's, so it would be like 16 or whatever, and if it's 16, and then with a CDL, like, that would bump them up to 18, and still be under a person that's been there for 3 years or more,
This is gonna include benefits?
if it's full-time, yeah. Is that all right with everyone, or, I mean, what does everyone think on that?
Why does it have to be full-time? What was the?
Well, I don't think we're gonna find anyone that's gonna work for the few months or whatever we want them to,
Right,
or else I would love to do that.
okay, that's what I was wondering.
I mean, we'd need them for 8 months or 6 months, but not just a summer.
Can we use somebody year-round? I mean,
Well,
can,
we
right?
always had 4 guys in the highway department, we're down to
Right.
3, so we really do need a replacement guy.
And right now it's down to 3, with one's the highway superintendent, so he's
Sure.
on the garbage truck or whatever, so there's nobody really
Okay, makes sense.
minding the store.
Better off, probably.
All right, so I'll make a motion to put another ad in the paper for a full-time labor position. I won't put the amount in, but at least we'll know, what we got to deal with. So make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next is the approval of fireworks, which we had discussed last time. We were almost there, but not, because of disagreement on things. Jeff did go back to them. A number of the dates are open. Fortunately, it's on a Tuesday, which I went back in I went online and went back to see what other areas did, with their dates and when they held them, but unfortunately, this is unique. Usually it's on either a Monday and you have Monday, or Saturday, Sunday to deal with, or you have a day after where people are off. This week it's in the middle, so, and it's not a national holiday on Monday or whatever, so it's, so the options are the week before, the week after, or the 4th of July, which was brought up by Marie, was rain dates, which we didn't think about or talk to them. The rain dates are still available. If we had it on the 4th, We could have it on the 8th as a rain date, but then we get into the Film Society. So in the past, there was a time in the past we had it on Labor Day. And so those are our options.
If we do it the weekend before Saturday, and do we still have the rain days for Sunday?
Don't know about that.
What about the rain date for Monday?
For what day?
Monday, Labor Day.
No,
I mean, this is not Labor Day
no,
weekend?
4th of July.
No, I'm not talking, I'm on rain day.
Right.
Oh, okay, no, if we do it on the 4th of July, the rain date would be
Labor Day.
Labor Day.
That's,
Right.
if it's Labor Day, then it's not Sunday, September 3rd. That's my point.
I didn't see the date. I don't know the date. I can't
Labor
remember.
Day's a Monday.
Labor Day's Monday.
Okay.
So you
Well,
can't.
September 3rd, it doesn't say Monday there, so my mind doesn't see, like I guess.
Okay.
No, I know what you're saying, I'm not that quick. The 3rd to me doesn't mean Monday or Tuesday, so.
So our options are to go back to the weekend before the 4th of July and do it Saturday with a rain date Sunday, if that's available, or keep it on the 4th.
So Labor Day is always, is Monday.
Monday.
Okay, so we could have it Labor Day weekend, 2nd or 3rd. We could have it on the 2nd. That would give us another rain date to the 3rd in case something happened.
I don't think you get 2 rain days.
I don't know how that works.
Get one.
Or we do it, so we do it on the 4th with the rain date of the Sunday before Labor Day, which is
Yeah.
that works.
Steve?
Well, what happens if it, you eventually lose your money?
Yes.
I guess so.
I mean, that's the chance we take every year when we do it.
Right.
Unfortunately. If we have-
And you
That
can,
seems the best use of our money.
which we didn't look into is insurance, so we could look into event insurance and see what that costs and how much that protects us. Lynn, thoughts?
I like the idea of having fireworks on the 4th of July. I also like the idea of having fireworks on Labor Day weekend, if it rains on the 4th,
Okay.
so.
Marie,
What?
dates, any specifics?
Nope.
Okay, you're easy, you're being too easy. All right, I'll make a motion that we have the fireworks on the 4th of July with a rain date of September 2nd,
Third.
or what is it, what day?
Sunday the 3rd.
Oh, Sunday the 3rd, sorry, Sunday the 3rd.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I did not even see Sunday, I'm sorry. My bad. Dockside agreement, I was sent, and I sat down and talked with Evan Thompson from, who runs the local parks, and we talked about I'd sent them a letter actually saying the contract that they sent us, you know, for us, it was no deal because, you know, basically it stayed in there, we couldn't keep any of the monies. We had to go through them for anything, basically anything. There was also restrictions on drinking or on alcohol sales. So I sent them a list of things, and the other was like the shoreline's gonna be revitalized by DEC or whatever, and they were asking us in this contract, once that was done, we would have to maintain that, replant any of these special species, and it was like, I don't even know what that is or what that's gonna cost. There's no way we can do this. So I then, I had a meeting with Evan, and we discussed it. He went back with my concerns, and so they sent us a contract which pretty much, covered everything that we wanted, saying that we could keep keep monies and deposit that into our rec department budget. Alcohol, we could serve, with permits, proper permitting, whatever. The shoreline stabilization, they were not requiring us to do anything with that. There was maintenance and cleanup of the shoreline, just general cleanup, like they do at Stony Point yearly, and maintenance of the property, and pretty much everything we asked for. So I did send everyone that contract, and it was redlined. So I know some didn't have a chance. We had a lot going on this week. So if everyone could look at that closely, I'd like to move that ahead, and we can send it to the attorney after, if everyone makes their comments. I know Linda sent me stuff.
You did get that.
I did that, did
I
read
know I
that.
typed a bunch of stuff, I didn't
Yeah.
remember sending it, so.
So if everyone else could look at that before next weekend, and, or if you can send me some stuff during the week, I could, you know.
Can you also, as I mentioned to you earlier, find out the status of the easement?
I wrote that down.
Great.
But that's definitely important. But that's why that's on here. So I was hoping to vote on tonight, but we really had a lot going on this week, so that's it. Next new business, we have the New York Division of Human Rights update. We met with, Marie and I met with the representatives from this division. The one person was the author of the letters, Albert Jacobs, and his superior, Melissa, and I can't remember. Franco. And so we had to sit down. We told them our concerns of the shop owners. It was kind of, the way she presented the letter and how she thought it read. I told her that's not how we were reading it. It wasn't quite that quite that nice. She was saying how, so basically what they wanted when they sent the letter, according to her, was for people to write back after they got the letter stating, what they would do, or if they couldn't, to write, how they were gonna, why they couldn't do it, or we can't do this because, for whatever reason, but that wasn't clear at all in the letter. I actually read the letters as a bit threatening, and I think a lot of people did. So they were very nice. We went over some of the properties, and there are, like one of them was Labouchan, and they have a rear entrance. They just didn't have a sign up, so they already put a little sign up with handicap chair, blue on it with an arrow around back, accessibility. And so there are ways that we can mitigate, and they also realize that there are certain areas that won't be able to. And so what these shop owners have to do is basically send them a little letters or call them. I received a call today, the end of the day, from Albert, asking anyone to call him, contact him, and they'll help us through this, and it should be an easy process. So that's the latest on the human rights update. As far one thing they would not answer was like asking a politician a question, I guess, was what if we owned the stoops? The village owns the stoops, and I could not get them to answer that. They said if it wasn't the business owner, then it was the owner of the property. But I said, what about the stoops? And I wrote them 2 letters individually, and still they danced around that. So I don't know what that is.
And we're also going to give you a total of the number of letters they
Yes,
sent.
I did get that.
You did, okay.
There's probably 10 merchants up and down Main Street that received them. So.
Did they give you any explanation as to why some were contacted and not
Yes,
others?
they did. They looked at a number of properties, and they concluded that it was too expensive and not readily achievable to make the store handicap accessible. And so they crossed it off their list. They are not going to pursue those. And so one can conclude from that the southern side of Main Street is not going to be asked to do the accommodations that are going to be requested on the north side of Main Street.
So they basically.
One could conclude that. It's not necessarily.
Yeah. And they assume that Doug's Pub is something that can easily be changed, and we just take the pole out in front.
They would like to have a response from either the tenant or the landlord as to why such accommodations would be cost prohibitive or totally impractical. And they have not received anything along those lines.
So the original letter to Doug would go something like this: you're being cited for, you need to make these, you have to mitigate this. It's not accessible for handicapped people. So Doug has a pole in the front. I don't know how much space is between that. I don't know if his door's 3 feet or not. And there's also a small lip on his stoop before he gets to it.
And it's a load-bearing column.
Yes.
So, if Doug had sent them something, you know, or if it was clearer in their letter what they wanted, he could have taken some measurements, said this is impossible, this is why, and according to them, they would accept that. But Doug said, no, I'm not giving you anything, and I guess, and I'm not giving you the landlord's name, and, you know, and advice from his attorney, I guess, and so that's where it stands on that. So I did go down and talk to Doug, and I'm not sure what he wants to do, but he feels he's not responsible for responding to them in the first place. So, anyway, if you get a letter, you can either, I'll give you the name of the person to contact and help anyone and do whatever we can to help people, you know, kind of mitigate the problem, or at least go back and contact them and tell them why, you know, this is impossible. And according to them, they would work with us on that, so we'll see. And he will come up at the drop of a hat, he told me.
How did he find us to begin with? Was he up here?
I don't know, they just come down from Hudson, and I think there was a complaint, is that right?
In Hudson, it wasn't clear why they had been to Hudson.
Right, I mean, for us, did he say, I think he said, they're talking about complaints.
It was never clear. One of the letters from them, or somehow I read that, they can respond to a complaint, or they can decide
That's the
that
division.
a community, it is totally up to them to do investigations. It doesn't have to be originated from a client.
Their division is, I forget what the name of it is, that says basically they can just do it without, even if they don't have complaints.
Albert is as a member of the investigative unit, and there are 4 other investigators.
Okay, so that's where we're at that. I do want to go back, I need board approval to authorize me to sign the Allegiance firework contract. So,
Damn.
a motion to sign this contract.
Also move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done deal. Next, Cold Spring Police IT contract. And want to weigh in on that one?
It's what we had last year, is it not?
I think it
I
is.
believe,
Yeah.
So, it worked well for us last year. Anthony is on top of things. The price remained the same. So why would we, it would seem to me that we would sign it. So I make a motion that we sign the Cold Spring Police Department IT contract for fiscal year 2017-18.
Seconded.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What's that?
If we just sign one, just that's for you guys.
Yeah, could do that. I'll be gonna be down tomorrow. Next is Lions Club liquor permit for the 4th of July. Let's see,
We're not the landlord.
what's that?
We're not the landlord of Dockside. Could you sign this?
I am a duly authorized representative of the landlord to sign. So it's Dockside.
This is Dockside.
So
Yeah, that has to go to Dockside.
they're
Yeah.
gonna have to go to State Park.
Does it have Dockside written on here?
Yeah, then you name Dockside Park.
Top, handwritten.
Oh, you know what they mean? Park at the dock instead of Dockside Park.
Oh, that's
Yeah, because they usually set it up on.
Riverfront
Yes,
Park.
yes, and you are,
Yeah.
Yes,
yes.
So she has to just change
Yes.
that.
okay.
Good thinking there.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve this, or to authorize this form. This is for Riverside, our Riverside Park on West Street.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I guess they actually have the address down there.
Yeah.
So that clears it up.
West Street.
Hudson River sloop docking application. This one was the one we talked about earlier, which was lost and found. Actually, some of the dates have already gone by. They were actually there this weekend, so, I don't know. So,
Again, this is the old contract.
is it the old one again?
Yeah, it's a $2 per foot.
Okay, well, we're waiving.
I know
right,
we're waiving.
Right, I told Jeff to change the other one and find it. So how do you want to work with that?
I thought he was looking for it, maybe he can't find it.
Well, this is the one, this is probably the one that's, well, I was gonna say the one that was sitting around, but I doubt if it is.
And I thought we had updated it for the new, at least for the new rate last year.
I would say that, the Hudson River Sloop just sent us, this is a copy of the one they sent us in January.
I told him I indicated to him that the C Street would be where he would find an updated application. You want me to talk to him tomorrow?
Yeah, let's just table this and send it and get the right one. The date on the bottom's wrong, and we can do, what's the,
Next one is next week.
next week?
20th.
Okay. We have,
Are we meeting? We typically don't meet on the third.
oh, the third,
Tuesday.
I think we should.
I think we got all the stuff.
We've been meeting every week.
What's that?
So we've been meeting every
We've been
week.
meeting, missing Tuesdays, you just have been.
Okay, so we should schedule a meeting also for a vote on that. Okay, so follow through with that.
I will.
And following that, I'll make a motion to hold a meeting next Tuesday. Usually it's our week off, 7:30.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And what's the meeting for?
What's that?
What's the meeting gonna be for?
We'll fill it with agenda items.
Because as it turns out, I have a conflict.
Okay, I mean, I don't think it'll be any, I'd like to see if we can do the dockside, at least move that ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
And we can do the permit or the application
Yeah.
and get a new one for that. And whatever odds and ends there are. So
Yeah.
we'll make it so that there's nothing.
7 o'clock or 7:30.
And then we'll change it when you're not here. Try to come.
Oh, good.
We have to
I
do
like-
Greg's-
I like that
we have to do Greg's
plan.
thing next week.
But that, yeah, Greg's also,
Huh?
Greg's, the added work. Greg Phillips.
Oh.
Okay, we already approved the advertising for summer help. Or, well, no,
no,
actually, we
no,
didn't.
this
Okay.
is different.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve re-advertising for summer help. Instead of temporary, we'll put summer help, the
Yes.
highway department.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Jeff Fedicovich had recommended that we hire, see if we can find someone to help us with the records management, like summer help also, or just someone, high school or someone, to help with the maps and whatever else is remaining to digitalize. He said there's a lot of it would never get it done. Was asking if we could, I don't know how we put a number on that, but
He estimated, I talked to him today about it, he estimated there's about $15 for all these oversized documents that have to be labeled and put in order. So we estimated about 35 to 40 hours. And high school wages. were-
30 hours a week?
No, period, total. Total of 35 to 40 hours to do this one project.
Sounds
And
reasonable.
maybe $10 an hour for a high school kid.
This summer,
This summer.
or whenever they want.
well, then the
We can.
high school kid, you did summertime.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might be able to find
I
some
think
kids
Steve
in
is
community
interested.
service.
What's
Well,
that?
You might be able to find some kids that need community service.
We've had someone here who has done community service
Because we've
for us
done that
before.
up in
I almost want to give them a little share of something.
Same thing.
Yeah, the community service thing is pretty much over, isn't it? It being the end
I'm
of the
just
school year.
saying, I don't know. There are organizations.
This would be under supervision of Mary and Jeff also. We're not
Yeah.
giving
Oh,
them a
God.
box and telling them to go in the
Oh,
back
my
room.
God, it's awful. I wouldn't want that job.
Anyway. So I'll make a motion to also advertise for help with record management, to have that worded properly.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of trustees meeting 4/25/17. I'll make a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the meetings, workshop meeting, village board, 5/2/17. I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Lynn, you have bills?
Yes. Make a motion to approve batch number 4050 for the amount of $37,446.98. And you did those two that were on the top.
I second the motion.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Public comment?
I'm just curious, the summer help, when you looking to have someone start that?
In the summer.
I know, I mean, after high school, after graduation, or?
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to put that in
You
June.
could start now,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Could they
I
start
think
now?
I think they're ready if anybody's available.
Just asking. I might know
Are
something.
you interested?
No, I know.
Mary will break you.
You got your own mower?
Huh?
So you got your own mower?
Yeah, anyway.
You're talking about the highway summer help? or
Yeah,
you-
is that what you- yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
asking.
Yeah, I think it would be as soon as we can, actually. Maybe the college kids must be.
If it doesn't stop raining, we don't need anybody to mow.
Anything else, public? Yes.
I have a question. Well, in your conversation with, what was his name? The gentleman from the Human Rights Commission?
What's that, sorry?
In the conversation with the gentleman from the Human Rights Commission?
Yes.
What discussion, was there any discussion of the fact that Main Street is a nationally listed historic district? What was his response to that?
It
Nothing.
was just, oh, we know.
And that's a
They're aware.
consideration that they would, yeah, they would take that into consideration, but, you know, they didn't offer anything on that. I mean, we brought up, you know, that we're on a hill, also causing a problem, you know,
Sidewalks are narrow.
and that the stoops are owned mostly by us, and a lot of, you know, so we
So
brought
it
up.
sounds like the conversation centers around attempted
Yes.
mitigation.
Yes.
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 That's more or less, I think that's it, only that's not how they presented it. There are some places that might be able to easily do something.
You had asked about getting SHPO's advice on that, and I had a phone appointment with the gentleman I was supposed to meet with, and it fell through, and I completely forgot to go back to that, so I'm sorry, but if we need to have that conversation again, I can follow up with him.
Okay.
And if it's something that gets dealt with all the time.
No, I mean, at that time, we were trying to gather all the information we could because we were unable to speak with the Department of Human Rights. They were at an on-site conference for a couple of days, and we wanted to be able to provide Main Street people with any information that we could.
Sure.
And so that's why we were attempting to get information that you might be able to get, that I might be able to get. We weren't able to gather that information, so they've decided to slide the topic to this week, once we had the meeting set up with Human Rights.
Okay, well, if you need us to do that.
But they don't, it doesn't sound as if they're going to.
Well, I mean, I don't know where that argument ends, because, I mean, think about, I'm looking at Taryn thinking about the door widths, and, I mean, it doesn't end anywhere on a main street like ours.
Right. So I think if they had contacted someone that doesn't have the door width or whatever, and talking about the stoops, that's what you would send them. This is my information, how could I possibly do this? My door is 32 inches.
Well, I mean, so
And
assuming you
uneven
could get
surface.
someone up a ramp into a store, then you've got the issue that the door isn't wide enough.
Right.
Then you have the issue that you're impacting the window. I mean, it's a huge cascade
Yeah.
of stuff. Okay, thank you.
One of something that you brought up that I thought was very interesting is a buzzer arrangement, so that a customer could use a buzzer to indicate that they would need assistance from the shopkeeper to get into the store, and that seemed to, you're not supposed to laugh at that.
Yeah, I know.
I can't imagine a shopkeeper would want to take on the risk of helping a handicapped person up
Yeah.
the stoop personally, but.
And
Well,
actually,
what that typically does is, when you buzz, is that the shopkeeper will come out with some kind of a ramp, but not all of our shopkeepers are able to manage something like that. I mean, if you have, one person in the shop and they're a little bit elderly or not that healthy, getting a ramp out there, somebody to come up and then put the ramp away and then bring the ramp back out. when
And
somebody's
where do you
leaving.
keep it? And the rise-run ratio of the
Exactly.
ramp.
And the other issue is that
Doorways are narrow.
a lot of
Right.
these things too, if you're renovating, and this may come under terror, if you're renovating, I believe then the ADA laws do apply. So you have to do whatever you can do within the scope of the fact that, you can actually do it. If your door's not wide enough and you can't move it because of the fact that your building will fall down, and that makes sense. but I'm even thinking in terms of the Silver Spoon.
Cost
It sounds like it's not the immediate concern that you originally.
No. I think as long as people get back to them with like some information about why they can't do it, which I think is easy to draw up a list on that. And also uneven surfaces, he even mentioned that. It's like you have a ramp
Was
and you
he
don't have
happy
an even
about the
surface.
fact that the village made all of the sidewalk accessible in the
Oh,
last year?
we mentioned all of that.
And,
They don't
and,
care.
and that,
About caring word.
Okay, just saying, we're trying.
Oh, no, we laid it out. I laid it heavy for a while.
He did.
They must hear it all the time. I don't know. The other thing with the buzzer was that it was in a pamphlet where they have a buzzer like, so someone like Silver Spoon would have a buzzer for sidewalk service, and people would bring stuff out to them.
on roller skates.
Ah,
Roller skates weren't there, but that was one of the suggestions, and they liked that.
But you can't really serve food outside of,
But then I
To
do.
go. To go, right?
to go, yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for enduring.